It's time for round number 4 of the London Chess Classic, and Gukesh is playing against the French Grandmaster Jules Moussard. This is Gukesh right out of the opening, very focused, calm. You can see his clock, it shows 1:33. He was very well prepared. Here is Jules, also extremely focused, calm. And this is the playing hall of the tournament. And let's go to the game and see what happened. This is a very, very interesting game with a very big turnaround somewhere in the middle. So you need to actually be very alert and come up with the answers. You can see we've added a new thing here, which is below the ChessBase India logo. There's a small logo there. It's the logo of Chessranga. This is a website that we've developed for interactive solving. And if you want to watch this, then click on the link in the description. The same video will open in interactive format where you will have to guess certain moves and it will help you to improve as a player. It is ChessBase India's platform for chess improvement. Okay, let's go to this game, and Gukesh gets another white today. He's playing against Jules, who is rated 2639, and Gukesh opens the game with 1 e4. Now, his opponent plays e5, knight f3, knight f6. We have the Petrov on the board, and he takes the pawn, d6, goes back, takes on e4, and now the main move here, d4, is played often. But Gukesh played also a very popular move, knight c3. I remember when I was growing up, Vishy Anand used to play this all the time with the white pieces. The idea is that after takes, to take with the d pawn, yes, you have made your pawn structure slightly compromised because you have the double pawns, also you took away from the center. But after bishop e3, queen d2 and long castle, you build up a very free-flowing position, which is quite in the style of Gukesh. So bishop e7, bishop e3, castles, queen d2, knight d7, castles. Here there are a few moves. Moussard played knight f6, c6 is also possible. He goes knight f6, and now Gukesh puts his bishop on d3. You can see that this bishop is very nicely positioned. Also, this is nicely placed. Good move here. And eventually, white wants to start rolling his kingside pawns. Rook e8, and now here Gukesh comes up with this new idea in the position, and he plays a3. And this is what Gukesh has been showing of late, and this is why he is become a top player, I would say. Of course, he's a very strong player, but every single game he comes up with a new idea. This has never been played before. In fact, rook h1 has been a common move. You can also see h3 is a normal common move, but a3 has not been played before. And it's interesting that this move itself is going to play a pivotal role in the game. I think there could be some deep points to this move. Often the bishop comes and hits this, and Gukesh has just taken care of it. Also, many times such moves just throw your opponent off prep, and then you don't use it in every game that you play, but this is one game idea perhaps. So Jules played d5, and now Gukesh put his rook in the center with rook he1. Black continued with bishop g4, and Gukesh said, this looks a little bit suspect to me. I'm going to push the bishop away. Now, if you were to play bishop back, then of course Gukesh is just the happiest person in the world, because anyway you wanted to expand and you just helped me to do that. So Moussard took on f3, pawn takes on f3, and this is typical Gukesh like play, because the structure is broken, but always because of that you get an open file, and that creates a lot of piece play. So queen d7, attacking the h3 pawn. I was expecting Gukesh to play h4 and just keep that pawn for a while, but he said no, I don't care. Moussard took up the challenge. He's like, okay, I have to do it. Gukesh played his bishop in. Now you can see one bishop here, one bishop here, one rook here. The queen could move in, getting dangerous. G6 was played by Moussard. And now here in this position, uh, queen f4 by Gukesh. By the way, instead of g6, if you would have been greedy and snatched this pawn here, queen takes f3, then Gukesh has a very strong move here. Maybe you want to pause the video and think a bit. What should white play here? Okay, the move is very pretty and also very thematic. It is rook takes g7. Once you see it, you understand it immediately that after king takes, yes, you can go queen g5, which is also a very powerful move, I would say. But better is to play rook g1 check. And now if king f8, there is queen h6 mate. So you have to play king h8. Notice how this knight is pinned. And you go queen h6. And after this, there's just no way to stop queen g7 or queen h7 because the knight is pinned here. So rook g8, queen h7 mate. So these were the dangers lurking around for Jules Mad. He played g6 and now Gukesh played queen f4, putting pressure on the knight. The knight came to h5, attacking the queen, and Gukesh snatched a pawn. The position is still complex. As black, I think it was very important here to find a defensive move. Maybe I'll let you think about it. Black to play. What is the defensive move you would have played? Because, you know, Gukesh is a deadly attacker. You need to be careful. Yes, the right move would have been bishop f6. Trading one of the bishops in the center, and then after bishop takes, knight takes. I already think black is doing fine. White's position like queen b7 does look tempting, but then you can take on f3, and I think Moussard would have been fine. But he did not trade the bishops. He went queen f3, greedy. And Gukesh now showed why his position is good. He went bishop b5. Attacking the rook. If the rook moves, then the bishop hangs. It's a very simple trick, but I think his opponent had thought he'll go rook c8. Two things will happen here. One is that the queen has to stop attacking the bishop. Then the rook can move. But Gukesh said, why don't I snatch another pawn? So he went rook b8. And now, of course, you can't snatch another pawn because then you would lose your bishop. But he went queen a6 and he said to his opponent that, okay, materially we are even. Your rook is hanging. So rook d8. And now here, Gukesh played. Again, Gukesh's sort of style of play is very, very concrete whenever the possibilities exist. So he went and attacked the queen. Check. He attacked the queen again. Queen e5. And now, okay, one way to play was to take this knight and take the pawn. And say I'm a pawn up with quite a simplified position because you're attacking this bishop and so on. But Gukesh went and took the pawn directly. Now this is a bit risky for sure because you will see that both these files have opened up and the bishops are there. But still, I mean, white, if this was endgame, white is winning. White has this huge clump of pawns, but it's middle game. And here, Moussard played the move knight to f4. Makes complete sense, attacking the bishop. The bishop moved to f3, again the best move. Bishop d6. I was wondering if you could attack the queen here, but the problem is that I'll just come back and gain a tempo. So he went bishop d6. And here I was hoping kind of that Gukesh would play his queen back to d4 and then just solidify his position somehow. It may not be very easy considering that both these files are open. There will be tricks and traps that will come his way. But still, I mean, a queen trade is not easy to avoid here, right? Because If you play queen f5, I have bishop g4. And if you don't trade queens, where do you go? Your knight is hanging. So this would have been best, but Gukesh wanted to keep the queens on the board and played rook d2. I guess his idea was to control the e2 square, maybe double up on this point. And here is your move as black, Jules' move. What did black play that stunned the world and Gukesh? In all other moves, give Gukesh an advantage here, but the superb move that Moussard played, and full credit to him for finding bishop a3. What a move this is. Amazing move. The point of it is that if queen a3, now you will realize that this rook on d2 is terrible because of the move rook a8. And it's a mate here if you move the queen. Let's say queen b3, rook a1, checkmate. The rook doesn't let the white king escape. And if you play b takes a3, then queen takes c3, threatening a checkmate here. And the problem is if bishop d4, which is the most natural move here, it fails to queen takes f3 and black is completely better here. And if you play queen to d4, then I take here and it's a checkmate this way. And if you come back with your rook to d1, then already rook b2 is very powerful, threatening a mate on c2. It's not an easy pawn to defend. And let's say if you play queen a4, then rook a2 with the idea of mate here. So I think Gukesh's best defense here was to take rook 8 and then chop this take and come back and hope that he can defend this position with the king escaping here. It will not be easy, but it was something that should have been tried. Instead, Gukesh got flustered. I guess anyone would get flustered after bishop a3. It's such a special strike. Rook d4 he played, and the rest was very straightforward for black because b2 fell. Then knight e6 came, hitting the rook. Rook tried to defend, but then he took here. Fantastic move again by Moussard, because if you take, there is d4. And so he had to play, he took d4 happened here, takes queen e3. And now the last move that was played here, knight d4. Fantastic move. If you take the queen, I'm taking here on f3. And otherwise, rook b2 is coming in. Let's say, for example, a move like bishop e4. Then I go for a check. And mate is coming up soon. So a very, very big turnaround with this move, bishop a3. I hope you were able to find it. If you found it, pat yourself on the back. That was fantastic. Let's have a look at the standings of the tournament. Right now, you see on the top is the results of round 4. 4 decisive games. We had Hans Niemann actually scoring his first win of the event. Volokitin lost to Tabatabai. Bartel won against McShane. So if you look at the standings now, Gukesh has been joined by Moussard, Jules and Hans Niemann. But Michael Adams leads. And if you see the pairing, which is in the middle of round 5, it's Gukesh versus Adams. So for Gukesh, nothing has been lost yet in this tournament. He can still beat Adams and take the lead in the tournament. But this was definitely a big blow because he could have won this game and moved to 3.5. But it was not to be. And I hope you liked this game and this entire coverage of the London Chess Classic. We are hoping that Gukesh manages to get his form back in this event after this loss and doesn't go downwards, which could happen. But let's keep a watch.